Tom Brady had a post on TomBrady.com.
Come on. No way.
Titled,
Is that for real?
Titled My Thoughts on Free Agency. So, he has this whole long entry. I'm skipping to the reflection section, Keefe. He says, I was only involved in free agency once.
TomBrady.com.
I didn't know that was the thing either. Who was the caller who called in? This is to the old afternoon show. He called in and he had a whole website. It was tom.com.
Tom.com.
Tom versus Bill. He's like, it was tom.com. He was like Uncle Oscar.
Tom Brady in context.com.
I'm trying to remember who that was. Damn it. But anyway, he says, I was only involved in free agency once at the tail end of my career. And when free agency means something very different than it does for a backup coming off a disappointing season or a guy coming off the last year of his rookie deal. Got it, Tom.
Yeah.
For me, it was a creeping decision that lived passively in the back of my mind for 2 or 3 years. Okay, so he was gone in March 2020.
So would you say that was the Super Bowl loss to the Eagles?
Yeah, maybe.
When it began?
I mean, maybe these are his words, not ours. But
I'm just guessing.
It was living passively in the back of his mind for 2 or 3 years. It was a creeping decision for 2 or 3 years going into March 2020.
Because that lines up more with the Eagles Super Bowl and the Malcolm Butler benching than it would be the Jimmy Garoppolo draft, which was in 14.
Correct.
So he didn't say this. He's been thinking about this for 6 years.
But in fairness, it also lines up with a win over the Rams in 2018. So how distracted could you really be?
Yeah, but I think he was pissed. I think he was beyond pissed after the 17 Super Bowl.
He says a whirlwind few days made me realize the decision was coming sooner rather than later.
And then also the contract beef, too. Like at that point. Like, hey,
go talk to
Robert.
I
just won the Super Bowl, maybe like another 2 years. And they're like, nah.
Yeah, go talk to Mr. Kraft.
Wasn't he already talking to the Dolphins at that point?
Also, good point.
Could be.
He says the reality was, I don't think he wrote about that. The reality was, after 20 years together, a natural tension had developed between where Coach Belichick and I headed in our careers and where the Patriots were moving as a franchise. It was the kind of tension,
Yeah, go on.
that could only be resolved, by some kind of split or one of us reassessing our priorities. Tension needed a split.
Yep.
And our priorities. So when Tampa came into the picture, Brady writes at TomBrady.com, a website I was unfamiliar with.
/post/ my thoughts on free agency if you're looking for it.
When Tampa came into the picture as a serious option for me, all I did over those few days in March was assess and reassess my priorities. I asked myself, as someone headed into their 40s with school-age kids and 20 years worth of battle scars, what truly mattered to me now. And what I ended up with was a list of about 20 things that I ranked and graded on a weighted scale from 1 to 3.
1 to 3? I think you just broke the scale.
Yeah, what's the...
the 6 on the hashtag Dork
1
podcast.
to 6 on the Dork podcast?
For Infinity Stones. So 1 to 10 I've heard. I've also heard of just like a pros, cons. You know when people are starting a new job?
Yes.
Hey, pros, cons.
Way out the
Closer to
pros,
home.
way out
Less
the
money.
cons,
This kind of thing. The hours are flexible. So he goes 1 to 3. 3 being like, this is great. 1 being this stinks.
Correct.
Okay.
20 items.
20 items.
He says... For instance, he gives
Team Plane is one of them?
We don't see the full thing.
Okay.
Team Plane might have been.
Okay.
We don't see the full breakdown, but he does include a few. He says the presence of skill players was a 3 in terms of importance, for example. And the Bucs graded out as a 3 because of guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Okay.
He said the same was true for the head coach.
Wait, what?
That was a 3 in importance, and Tampa scored a 3 with Bruce Arians. So the implication is...
Is that a tiebreaker over Bill? Bruce Arians?
He says Arians was a 3. He does not list Bill's grade, but I'm guessing it wasn't a 3.
No, probably not. Well, at this point, it wasn't.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, he was ready
with the tension and everything else.
Yeah.
The roster was a 3. He doesn't say what that was for the Patriots. He says game day weather was a 2, but practice weather, 3.
What a weird list of things.
He wanted to practice in nice weather, Keefe.
One of the greatest cold weather quarterbacks of all time is like game day weather 2.
Yeah.
So what does that even mean? Like, what the hell?
Here you go. Now, this is nonsense.
Okay.
Financial compensation, he admits, was on the list, obviously.
Thank you, Tom. You're just like us.
But it wasn't first.
Oh.
And it probably, I think that word's doing a lot. It probably wasn't even in the top 10.
So wait,
And it definitely didn't rank a 3 in importance.
Wait, so each thing was ranked 1, 2, or 3.
Yes.
But then each thing was also ranked itself.
Apparently.
Wow.
Quite a...
Listen, that's why he's Tom Brady and we're not.
It's like an advanced matrix is what it is.
That is good stuff. Next time I have a major life decision, I think I might break
20 items.
20 items, 1 through 3, and then also rank the items. And then see where I land.
And mine is just...
Yes or no?
I just rank money.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Is it more than this? Okay, I'll do this.
Money and like maybe vacation time?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Flex days?
Yeah, well, those...
How do you weigh flex days?
That's a great question. You're supposed to get unlimited, but who knows? In
Put
the
that
end,
to the test.
Yeah, in the end, I chose Tampa almost 5 years ago because in the aggregate, it graded out higher than New England along those 20 or so dimensions. It's not much more complicated than that.
All right, so we really only got 3 or 4 of the dimensions, if you will.
Yep.
And so it was skill players, coach, and weather.
Yep. And
So-
money was somewhere on the list, not in the top 10.
Yeah, so money wasn't important. But so if you're just looking at skill positions, it wasn't even close at this point in time. Obviously, Tampa had the better one.
What do you think
Weather is not really fair.
Right.
And then so if Belichick isn't going to win a coach battle versus Arians, this thing wasn't even close then.
What do you think he graded? If Arians got a 3, which he writes,
Yeah.
what do you think he graded Bill?
0.
1.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
done with
right,
it.
at one at the highest.
Like, done with it.
yeah.
He was obviously done, and I think he doesn't get into this, but I wonder if it was also like great. I wonder if the Patriots were really even being compared at this point. Wouldn't it be more like Bucks and Chargers or whatever the rumors were, Bucks Dolphins, like whatever the rumors were? Because I think he was also really surprised about how few teams were interested in him.
Oh, yeah.
So once he heard the Bucks were interested, it might have just been a done deal, but even before this exercise.
So to me,
Yeah.
like, this should just get thrown in everybody's face who's like, nah, Brady and Bill, it was fine. That's all nothing. That's a media creation. All these things. See, they're good now.
Well, I was gonna say,
Bill was at the roast,
Yeah, right.
and Bill was at Brady night.
Right.
You guys are making something out of like Brady just told you the tension's why he left. And he also told you he likes Bruce Arians better than Bill.
It's bizarre.
Huh. I mean,
The
you
game
know,
day weather and the practice weather.
I don't think it's huge news for anybody who actually followed this and wasn't just like sticking their fingers in their ears, Patriots fans.
No, but what it's been is for the last 5 years, it's been a lot of people, fans, media, whatever, kind of speculating and talking about stuff. And then when you see Tom Brady actually go to TomBrady.com and write this whole thing out.
Take the time to write this entry. Yeah.
Because even in all his different like podcast appearances and everything else he's done in like games, like he doesn't really get into this. And they do kind of gloss over a lot of stuff and just sort of talk about like the happy times, which is fine. That's their right to do. But then when he gets into the decision making and why he chose the Bucks, like that's newsworthy.
Okay. TomBrady.com if you want to read the full entry.
For the rest of the stuff.
I thought that was
Get the newsletter.
The juiciest part.